Another big focus, Sri Lanka, the island nation now on the brink. Well, a ship carrying 40,000 tons of diesel under a $1 billion credit line given to Sri Lanka by India has now reached the island. The fuel will be distributed across Sri Lanka this evening. Meanwhile, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa delivering a state of emergency in Sri Lanka. Late on Friday night, he's given sweeping powers to security forces after hundreds of protesters tried to storm his house in anger over the unprecedented economic crisis. Tough laws have been invoked which allow the military to arrest and detain suspects for long periods without trial. Meanwhile, calls for Mr. Rajapaksa's ouster are spreading.
The protests have turned violent here in Sri Lanka. We see the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, he has announced a state of public emergency. Now this means giving full powers to especially the police and 3 other forces to ensure that they can go and arrest and also initiate action against those who are questioning and going against the government. Now this comes right after where we saw the protests of over 5,000 people gathering on the street, especially that is leading to the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's house, and the result of that, what we did of course witnessed on ground was glass bottles being shattered on the on the stretch of the road, and also water cannons being used by the police to ensure that they could disperse the crowd. But the number of people who had gathered there in fact outnumbered the number of the policemen and also special task force. Now that is one of the reasons why we understand the government has gone ahead and also declared a public emergency. What we saw was that some of the petrol stations, fuel stations had put up boards saying that there is no fuel, while some others had long serpentine queues. We could see that several people standing in the scorching sun with their cans waiting to either for the diesel or even for the petrol. But as far as petrol is concerned, right now it is still in limited supply, but diesel had completely run out as far as Sri Lanka is concerned. So today, it was just today, just a few hours ago during the midnight, just after the midnight, what we saw was that 40,000 metric tons under the Indian credit line has reached the Sri Lankan shores. And as far as the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation is concerned, they go on to confirm that the distribution of the diesel will happen in the evening, which means up until evening, we will still continue to see the kind of rush at the fuel stations and also the long queues.